live. Let's get it.
Perfect. Welcome to Dirty Fanatics United.
Falcons fans, Falcon Nation, Dirty Fanatics United is coming at you live. As always, I am your host, C Money. You can call me Chase, followed by my co-host, Philip, Robert, Cody. As always, we are your Atlanta Falcon Dirty Fanatics United podcasters. Hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe if it's your first time to the channel. We have a pregame show for you here today, Falcon fans. Probably the biggest pregame show of the whole season. Falcons versus Commanders. Hashtag must win. Hashtag episode 122 here on the live podcast. Falcon fans, hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and tag a Falcon friend and have them subscribe for the chance to win your very own Apple AirPod Pros from my guy, Cody Keeler. Philip, what's going on, man? It is time to talk Falcon football pregame show with DFU. Philip, what's going on, baby?
Just watched some interesting games today. Some have been bad. Some are just like what the hell am I even watching? But anyway, it's just one of those days. I thought I was gonna have fun watching these games. No, it ain't been fun at all.
No.
But we're in a big do or die situation tonight, and that's the only game I've really been worried about. Now I wouldn't say worried. That's been what I've been focused on. I don't really care about what everybody else has got going on or who's did this for who, what team. I don't care about that. I'm focused on this logo here. That's all we got to say.
Absolutely, Philip. Big game today for the Atlanta Falcons, signifying must-win game here for these birds in a very crucifying week here. The Falcons would have been able to lock down the NFC South if the Tampa would have lost today to the Carolina Pansies. Obviously, that was not the case over in Tampa Bay today. The Carolina Panthers lose in a fashionable reason, 48
Carolina
14,
way.
I believe it was. Yeah, in a Carolina way, only a Carolina way. Cody, what's going on, brother? Big game here tonight, primetime game. Your Atlanta Falcons 5-1 in primetime games this season. Cody, how are we feeling about this matchup, brother? And most importantly, what's been going on since we last chatted here on the podcast?
Yeah, man, doing good. Kind of agree with Philip. Was excited this morning to hopefully watch Carolina Panthers, handle business, but they do what Carolina Panthers do. They suck when we need them to be anything. But I'm not worried about it. We're going to go out. We're going to handle our business. We don't need to rely on any teams to win, lose, do whatever. We're going to go out and we're going to go handle our business. But doing good, man. I'm ready for this game. It's been kind of weird waiting around for a Falcon game on a Sunday. So, but it's great that we're flexed into prime time. That's where we've been shining. So let's do it again.
Absolutely. A big game here. As I stated, 5-1 in primetime games. You walk away 6-1. Michael Penix Jr., his first ever road game, first ever primetime game as a Dirty Bird. Big moment for Michael Penix Jr. here against his former, not classmate, but former rival, college buddy Jaden Daniels here in Washington. A big matchup. It's been kind of rainy, been kind of messy over in Washington today, so that could always be a factor when it comes in this game. We're going to break that down very into depth here very soon, so stick with us, Falcon fans. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Leave your questions in the comment section because we will get to the comment section here in a minute. Robert, what's going on, brother? Glad to have you here in the comments. In the live podcast. This guy is a podcaster, Falcon fans, not a commenter. Robert, what's going on, man? Glad to have you here tonight to talk Falcon football. It is, as we stated, probably the biggest pregame show DFU has had this whole season. Robert, what's going on, man? How we feeling?
2 years of doing it.
Feeling confident. It's a winnable game tonight. I think Penix is going to shine. I think he's going to show us what we got, and just got to take care of business. And like Cody said, we're not going to depend on other teams to fall. We're just going to take care of our business. We're going to take care of us.
Absolutely, Robert. Solid answer there. Do not rely on another team to get you into the playoffs. Handle your business on the road with your rookie quarterback. Big matchup today, Falcon fans. Falcon fans, if you wanted to know what's been going on with me, we just been chilling, man, waiting on this Sunday, very anxiously waiting on this Sunday. As we've stated, this is the biggest game that you've had in quite a while, possibly in 7 years. This is the biggest game you've had on your plate for the Atlanta Falcons. So big expectations here tonight, big hopes and aspirations, but I must say I am very nervous about tonight's matchup because I do believe it will be a dogfight. We're going to dive into that here very quickly. Before we do, head it over to the comment section. The Sports Nuts is in the chat. Hashtag DFU. Shout out to the Sports Nuts. Says Falcon fans, be loud and be proud. Hashtag rise up. Mateo, my diehard day one. Mateo PCV is in the chat. Said rise up, Dirty Birds. Time to unleash Michael Penix Jr. and his full potential tonight. Let's get this win. Hashtag DFU. Shout out to Mateo. You are absolutely right. Give the rookie
beat Dan Quinn.
Hashtag beat Dan Quinn from Mateo. Sterling Woods in the chat. Shout out to Sterling Woods. Said hashtag let's make the playoffs. That is the goal, Sterling. If you can make the playoffs, you have satisfied every single Falcon fan for this season. Make the playoffs, and you have happy fans. And you possibly get that game at home, and the Falcon fans are in the bins. Packed it out. It is going to be crazy in Atlanta if you get that playoff spot. Falcon fans, hit that like button. Mateo in the chat said odds are against us. Let's win it, though. Without – who's that?
Carolinas.
Hey, we can do it, brother. We can do it, most definitely.
Right now.
Shout out to Krista Kaysen. Pitch It over on Facebook said, rise up, Miss Krista. Hit that like button. Head over to YouTube and subscribe if you haven't already. Glad to have you here in the chat. My guy Mateo said, rainy game, maybe a Bijan and Algier game. We hung him up for a reason, Falcon fans. We hung him up for a reason. That right there just very well may be your recipe to success. Without further ado, let's head into our next segment. Keeler's Killer Keys to the Game. Cody, take it away. Your recipe to success for today's game.
Yes, sir. It's going to be a wet night in Washington. So you're absolutely going to have to rely on Bijan Robinson, let's say, in the run game. That's what you got to do because that wet turf will slow down your wide receivers. It does all that stuff. So get the ball to Tyler and get the ball to Bijan early. Set up your run game. Mm-hmm. Wear out that Washington Commander defense. They're already bad at stopping the run. And you know Dan Quinn, he's going to want to bring the blitz, and he's going to want to do that. So if you can burn them with Bijan on the ground, and I'm expecting a big game from Bijan tonight. And I'll get to that when we get to our hot takes. But that's your first step. Your second step is don't make things too complicated for Michael Penix Jr. The recipe, what you did against New York was perfect. Do that again tonight, and that will absolutely set the rookie up for success. Once you get your run game going, that'll open up that play action every now and then so he can take those shots if you've got to take those shots. The other key to the game is defense, put the Commander quarterback on the ground. Get a hold of Jaden Daniels. Do not let him beat you with your legs.
Jalen Carter, his ass.
That's exactly. If you can keep him on the ground and keep him from running around, do not let him beat you with your legs. So feed Tyler and Bijan. Keep things simple for the rookie quarterback and keep Jaden Daniels from scrambling around. Put him on his ass. And I'm looking for Caden Ellis to be big in that.
Caden Ellis, get to the quarterback, baby. Major piece to your recipe to success. Cody with the killer fact of today. Philip, recipe to success for these Dirty Birds, brother. What do you have? How do you get past these Commanders that seem to be flying high with possibly the rookie of the year, Jaden Daniels at quarterback? Philip, what is your recipe to success to outscore this team and initially win this game and continue your battle to make that playoff spot?
My big man key, number one, is it's going to be Caden Ellis. You send him back there. You get him after the quarterback. He's going to rattle him a little bit. And once he's rattled, we've seen it at LSU. You know, it's just like any other quarterback. He's human. You know, that's it. You know, we just start making random throws. And then we have the safeties. We have the secondary. We have the defense now from like these past few weeks that have been balling. So main key is to get Caden Ellis after the quarterback, and defense is also playing on the same page. And as Cody mentioned, it is a rainy game. So number 2 goes to Michael Penix. Where did he come from? Washington and Seattle. That's the difference. Do we all know what happens in Seattle every single day?
It rains.
It rains nonstop. He knows how the feel of the ball is going to be. He's used to it. Whether you need them to hand the ball off or to throw it, he's going to be a major factor in today's game or tonight's game. And number 3 is obviously the guy in the background right there, number 7. You give him the ball, you let him do his own thing. You let him be Bijan. And then, but also a mix of 2-5. We need a little bit of that. Hard pounding. Somebody that's going to just keep driving because they can't take him down. He's a different monster.
You say you need a hard pounding?
Oh, they need a hard pounding. They need it, right? Keep pounding, you know what I mean? Right.
Falcon fans, hit that like button, man. We are an uncut Falcon podcast. We do not care. Falcon fans, hit that like button. Robert, obviously, Philip and Cody with 3 major successful keys to success here for the Atlanta Falcons. But Robert, what is your specific recipe to success to walk away above 500, 2 games above 500, still on top of the NFC South, pushing for that playoff spot? Robert, what is the recipe to make that happen?
Recipe.
Well, since it is a weather game, we have got to make sure we don't turn the ball over. We got to protect the ball. We can't make any goofy mistakes, and got to keep the penalties down as well. Just protect the ball. The number 2 key is to force mistakes. You know, if once the Commanders' defense isn't that impressive, and if we can just force their offense to make mistakes and not let them get into a rhythm, we should be fine tonight. And Absolutely. Number 3, run the ball.
Yeah,
run the ball. Set the rookie quarterback up for success, like Cody said. Just do what we did against the Giants. Keep that in place. Execute. We'll be fine.
Vape delivery. The vape has landed in the podcast room. We are talking Falcon football, Falcon fans. Robert, with the keys to success, always bringing his facts to the podcast, because as you stated, Robert, not only can we get Bijan started, can we get Algier started, but you mentioned about getting Michael Penix started. Keep it simple for Penix. Keep him driving in this game. You have a secondary in Washington that's kind of beat up today. Philip, give me the injury report if you have that pulled up right this second. Injury report for Washington, and then obviously give us the Atlanta Falcons, and then I'll give my recipe to success.
Let me find it. I just had it. Shut up. Okay, so Washington. Okay, shut up. I got it. Washington is more lengthier than what we are. Obviously, the major one is it questioning me in my mind who's guarding number 5 tonight. We have Marshawn, who? Lattimore out of it. Who? We don't know that guy. We still beat his ass up in who that?
New Orleans
and Stanktown down there. Who that? We that bitch. Anyway, we have also wide receiver Dami Brown. Can't really say that name. And we have linebacker Jordan McGee. Safety, he's out with an ankle, Tyler Owens, and then offensive tackle Andrew Wiley, which means we should get after the quarterback, guys. We've been getting
what
stats.
You're telling me is your Falcons are at the second game from the last of the season, and you're probably the healthiest you've been all year.
Yes, because you only have 2 on your injury report as of right now, which is Antonio Hamilton, which is cornerback, and out with a quad. And we already knew that from the beginning of the week. And then Kevin King, which was out last game, out with a concussion. That's the only 2 injuries you got.
Sterling Woods has kind of taken my hint to what my recipe to success could be for these Atlanta Falcons today. That secondary for Washington should be suspect. This could be the game, Falcon fans, where Michael Penix Jr. shows why he was rated the best deep ball quarterback thrower in this NFL draft. I think you have a Mooney and Drake London field day where they both top 1K today when they walk away from this primetime game. Drake London is 20 yards away from that 1K. It's 20, 25, something like that. Darnell Mooney, 45 yards away from this 1K. Could we have 2 receivers break 1K today for the first time in Atlanta for the past 3 years? You finally have a receiver over 1K, not 1, but 2. You're signing Darnell Mooney in the offseason. That is a win for Terry if he hits 1K. Sorry, Falcon fans. A lot of Falcon fans are hating on Terry. That is a W for Terry if Mooney hits that 1K.
Leave my GM alone.
Drake London, a big step for him hitting 1K in his career. Always knocking on the door, but now officially 25 to 30 yards away from that 1K season. My recipe to success, keep Michael Penix clean in the pocket. Give him time to throw the ball. He praised you on your last game. O-line, keep this young kid healthy. Keep this young kid clean in his pocket. Let him deliver to these big-name receivers that we just mentioned. Get that run game started with the guy that's hanging up on the wall, Bijan Robinson. Get him started because, guys, he is having one hell of a season. He is right at 1,200 yards. He will reach that today. He's at 1,128 yards, I believe. I think Bijan tops 1,200 yards today on the season. Tyler Algier gets in the red zone a little bit today. You see some Tyler Algier action. I think you have a big game from Darnell Mooney, Falcon fans. I think this is the game Darnell takes the top off. I said it, and I'll say it again. If Mooney and Penix connects on the deep ball, you have a scary offense for all these defenses in the NFL. My recipe to success, keep Penix clean, get the ball to Drake and Mooney, and let's move the chains.
The Drake, the one that's Thanos and everybody out there?
Just get me 1K on both receivers, and that is a W
Drake,
for tonight's game.
The one that's putting hands on everybody? That Drake?
Wallace Smith in the chat said, "What's good, fam?" Wallace, glad to have you in the chat, brother. The Sports Nut says, "What's Ray Ray at?" He's played big roles all season. I think Ray Ray's at 500 to 600 yards on the season. I'm not
good for his
completely.
Role
Let's see. Hey, Siri.
Ray wasn't actually.
How many receiving yards does Ray McLeod have this season? So let's head over here. Siri's acting crazy, but I'm for sure that it's like 500 yards for Ray McLeod this season. 607, so I'm pretty close with one touchdown, 57 receptions. So could you guys imagine what Rondale Moore would have been for this offense?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's big for his role because he wasn't the starting.
He wasn't the starter. No, not at all. And Ray has made a big production here. 600 yards on the season. That, to me, signifies another year in Atlanta for Ray. Who knows what could happen when it comes to this offseason? Wallace Smith in the chat said, yes, we will have 2 receivers break 1K receiving yards today. That is a crazy stat to say. I'd love to see it. I want to get the W, but to have that stat there is tremendous. Mateo in the chat said, if Pitt shows any promise, we could have a Julio White and Ridley receiver core with Pitts, Drake and Mooney. If is the big word there, Mateo. I've supported Kyle Pitts so much, and I'll continue to support Kyle Pitts while he's in an Atlanta Falcon uniform. But you've got to give me more, homie. Like, if you're going to be that pick that we selected at 8 or at 4 to be the receiver that you were supposed to be, even though you were labeled a tight end, guess who just broke Mike Ditka's tight end receiving yard? No other than Brock Bowers himself. That's who you take at number 4. That is the unicorn at the tight end position. Brock Bowers. Kyle Pitts, I'm not giving up on you, brother, and you may continue to be a Falcon after this season, but I've got to have more from Kyle Pitts. Christo's in the chat. She said, Pitts ain't going to show shit. I'm about where Chris is at. I'm about where Chris is at because it's been tough to watch Kyle Pitts this season. The Sports Nut says, the hell with Pitts. He was too busy working on his MCD drive-through contract. He needs to go find a team that he wants to work at because from his statement, I just work here, he could pack it all and find a new job because right now, Pitts just is not doing it here for me in Atlanta.
What work has he done since the second Tampa Bay game?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. When the defense has closed down his go route, the 2 go routes that he ran back to back, he hasn't done nothing. He's done absolutely nothing. More could be trade bait as well since Ray's showing up. Absolutely.
Does that mean the way he's working, can I just go work there with him?
Here's a comment. We haven't addressed this much, and it's a pregame show, so we usually won't address this, but we'll do it because Sterling Woods brought it up in the chat. It says, what do y'all think is wrong with Pitts? I'll start this off, and then we'll rotate around and give an honest 100% answer, and I'll come to you right now and give you my 100% answer. Kyle Pitts is tired of losing in Atlanta. Kyle Pitts has followed the Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley route, and the past few years has not been great for Atlanta. But that's where you find these players that want to stay in Atlanta and these players that want to make a better team. Because, guys, we can face it, and other Falcon fans may disagree, but the Falcons have progressed this year. The Falcons have moved up in what they've been the past few years. The Falcons are looking like a team this season that could initially be a deep playoff team, if not this year, but next year. So I have high faith in this team, but with Kyle Pitts, I think the situation there is he's lazy. He's selfish. If he's not getting the ball, he's selfish about that, and it shows in his route running. That's my thoughts on Kyle Pitts. Philip?
Just feel like it's more of like having the main targets around, like you have Bijan, you have Drake. That's your main targets. Now you have Mooney that's been in the mix for 1,000 yards. This
is a big comment here too because ever since the injury, it's not been the same Kyle Pitts. His injury.
I'm not even gonna mention the injury. He's fine now. He's just gone out there just running stupid, like he's. I can't say that, but like
I'm not gonna say he's fine because to me, ever since the injury, he's got this weird run. Like he's got this bow-legged run since he's tore that knee.
If you go back and watch him at Florida, he still did that same exact thing. And the thing you mentioned about him wanting to win in Atlanta and tired of losing in Atlanta, he should be used to that because he did that with Florida, but one season. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, it was one season.
I'm not sure what it is, but I really don't care. You act like a player in this league. Act professional. If you don't want to be there, be professional about it. That's the way you go about it.
Cody, this question goes to you and then Mr. Robert. Obviously, we've expressed this a lot on the show this year about Kyle Pitts and his production in Atlanta. But at one point, Cody, Robert, Phillip, we all were saying, you re-sign this Kyle Pitts. The Kyle Pitts that you're playing right now in the first 6 weeks of the NFL season, you re-sign this guy. And now it's where no Falcon fan really wants Pitts on the roster anymore. Cody, your thoughts on Kyle Pitts? What could be his problem? The question comes from Sterling Woods. What do y'all think is wrong with Kyle Pitts?
He's late. He's lazy. I played a lot of football in my lifetime, and I've watched a lot of it, and I can tell when somebody's lazy and quits. And that's what he's done. Like I don't want to hear anything about the injury. I don't want to hear anything about, well, they're not using him right or, oh, blah, blah. No, if you're the unicorn that you say that you are and that you were projected to be and all this wonderful stuff, nobody has to scheme you open. Nobody should have to game plan for you to have your head in the fucking game. You're lazy. You should be able to do that. Your injury was 2 years ago. Kirk Cousins came out of an Achilles injury, the fastest ever to do it, played great for 11 weeks and then finally shit the bed. What's your excuse, Kyle? What is your excuse? Because your injury wasn't as bad as Kirk's. It wasn't. Plain and simple. It wasn't as bad as Kirk's. I mean, this is the equivalent. Like if we were doing this podcast and every time we got up here and we talked Falcon football and you throw something to me, this is the equivalent of Kyle Pitts, what he's doing with the Atlanta Falcons. I don't know, guys. So let's say, I'm just
and that's how it seemed in that interview, Cody. When they asked him, a guy that's a veteran in this league. That's what gets about the whole situation. When it was the interview, Cody, you remember this? When they interviewed Kyle Pitts about Michael Penix Jr. taking the lead role here in Atlanta. I just work here. I have no say in those situations. Cody, even for him to say, I didn't think that they would switch to Michael this early. Like that to me was a shot at the Falcons. That to me, and I couldn't misinterpret that wrong, but you're absolutely right, Cody. The attitude that he brings in his interviews is the same attitude and the laziness that he brings on the field.
Yeah, and it, body language tells you a lot about, character. It tells you a lot about a person. And I was say, and his is garbage. I was going to say, last week against the Giants, it looked like he purposely threw that ball away. Nobody hit him in the arms. I don't know what that was, what he's doing, because he's obviously not worried about Falcon football right now. His head is somewhere else, and I'm pretty sure it's up his ass. But this is my thing is, he's just lazy. It's just pure lazy. And like you say, I understand that that's kind of a gotcha question, that reporters love asking. Hey, how do you feel about the trade? And even if your butt hurt that Kirk Cousins is no longer your starting quarterback because, Kirk, was your guy, and Kirk was kind of the one that was like, hey, we're going to turn you into blah, blah, blah. And Kirk, now Kirk is no longer sitting there. Your answer should never be, I just work here, because that's the answer that employees give that don't want to fucking be there. That's an answer that somebody who has no motivation, no care in the world.
That's 2020 Julio answer, right? That was
exactly. I don't care if you have to lie through your teeth, because the answer should have been, look, guys, Kirk was my guy. I'd rather have heard this. Look, Kirk was my guy. I'm a little upset by it, but I'm going to be here, and I'm going to be the best player that I can be for Michael Penix so he can succeed and so the Falcons can succeed. I'd rather have heard him be 100% honest about how he felt about it, other than, I just worked here. I'll say, I had a worker that used to do that. I just work here. Yeah, because you don't want to fucking be here. I get that's all that means. So that's Kyle Pitts' problem. He doesn't want to be here. He's lazy, and he's not interested in being a Falcon. So I don't care if he goes out and balls the next two games. I don't care if if tonight he goes for 4 touchdowns, 350 yards. I want him gone. I want him gone. So
yeah,
that's what's wrong.
Mateo, sadly, I did buy the Pitts jersey his rookie year, and I also bought my son the Pitts jersey because I thought drafting a Pitts at number 4, the highest you've ever selected a tight end, I thought he was going to be something here in Atlanta, and that has not been the case. As Krista said here in the chat, she said they get paid to play whether they win or not, and yes, he is lazy. Robert, obviously, you've shared your thoughts on Kyle Pitts this season, so give me a quick summary of Sterling Woods' comment. What is wrong with Kyle Pitts in Atlanta?
Ass.
I think a lot of Kyle's problem is he's reading the headlines and he's buying into his own hype.
Yeah.
He is seeing what, Travis Kelce is doing in Kansas City. He wants to be the star. He wants to have, I don't know if I should throw this out there, but, Travis Kelce's all over the news because he's banging Taylor Swift.
Shit.
If this is what
God, that's a mega biff mega take.
And
that shit.
It's, if he's expressed in the past that he doesn't like to block, which is part of a tight end's job.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, if you want to line up at receiver only, talk to the coach about it. If it's bothering you that bad that you don't want to function as an NFL tight end, if you want to be a receiver, if you want to put up the numbers and all that, and yeah, I get it. Raheem's comments about stats are for losers probably bruised his ego a little bit.
Yeah.
But hey, you were drafted into the NFL. That is a privilege. You're getting paid a lot of money. Fans are paying money to come see you perform, and you are not putting forth the effort. As I've said on the podcast before, you are depriving people of what they pay for.
Absolutely.
You know what it honestly kind of reminds me? I'll say this honestly this situation reminds me of Vic Beasley when you could tell he just wasn't into it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Falcon fans, Mateo in the chat said Ritter beat the Aints. Hey, shout out to Ritter for doing that. He did beat the Aints. Falcon fans, hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe. Bringing you to your next subject of tonight's pregame show. Can the Atlanta Falcons contain Jaden Daniels? That's your next topic for tonight. Falcon fans, let me know in the chat. A 1 for the Falcons defense plays well. A 2 for the Atlanta Falcons struggle with Jaden Daniels tonight in Washington. Philip, that question goes to you, and we'll kick it off and go to Robert, Cody, then back to me. Can the Atlanta Falcons defense stop Jaden Daniels? If so, how? If not, why? Let me know, Philip.
Yes, and this is why I'm saying why. It is apparently going to be wet. From what I've seen, it was going to start raining by that time. So it's going to be wet and messy. Here's the thing. It's going to lower down his chances of running as a quarterback. He's not a running back. So here's the thing. He doesn't want to mess up his legs, obviously, like the kid. But hey, tonight is where I'm sorry. You are my enemy, my guy. It ends tonight. Grady, Caden Ellis, they're getting after this guy. Doesn't matter who. Hell, it could be Ruka Raggy, he coming. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He is going to be planted into the dirt tonight. And I really feel that. I feel it.
Phil, we got a special guest.
Prediction. That is a spoiler, baby.
Mateo, what's going on, brother? Glad to have you here today. We're obviously speaking on the Atlanta Falcons defense stopping Jaden Daniels. Philip, spot on with your prediction. You're absolutely right. A sloppy weather game day could keep Jaden Daniels contained in the pocket. Can the Atlanta Falcons defense stop Jaden Daniels? Cody, that question goes to you.
Yeah, no, they absolutely can. I'll tell you why right now. Caden Ellis is going to be so far up Jaden Daniels' ass, you're going to think they're dating. That's just going to be plain and simple. Caden Ellis is going to be an issue for Jaden Daniels tonight. I think Caden continues his fantastic season. Man, if there needs to be I don't know if Caden Ellis is in the talks for Defensive Player of the Year, but he needs to be. He's
definitely a run for the Pro Bowl.
He needs more than that because the football something he needs some trophy or something because the season he's having is fantastic. But yeah, I think to Philip's point, the grass is going to be wet. It's going to be a little harder for a quarterback scrambling to run than it is for a running back to run. But like I said, it's going to look like Caden and Jaden Daniels are dating because he's going to have him on the ground.
I love it. Some of the reports coming out of Flower Branch, and I actually have the source here. Give me a second to pull it up. Before I get to that source, Mateo, what's going on, man? Glad to have you on the live podcast. What's going on, brother? How are we feeling about today's matchup?
What's up, fellas? Yeah, I'm ready for tonight. I feel it's going to be an explosive back and forth kind of game. I'm not going to sleep on Washington,
Right.
But I feel Michael Penix is going to come out and show his butt off. Also, I feel just having Bijan and Algier in the back, I feel they're going to be planning more of a run defense for us. So that's going to leave Penix more open to, spread the ball around to our wide receiver core. So I'm ready for it. I'm hoping to see if Michael Penix is that guy coming into the end of the season and see if we get this playoff spot.
Absolutely, Mateo. That's the Roman question. Can the Atlanta Falcons secure the NFC South? Can they hold on to this lead that they once had a 6-3? Now it's a half a game advantage, and if you lose tonight, you get that right back to Tampa Bay. So it is a must-win game here for the Dirty Birds. Atlanta Falcons Fandemic in the chat said, DFU, rise up. Shout out to Atlanta Falcons Fandemic for turning in. Sterling Woods in the chat said, we have got at least 3 or 4 sacks of games these past 5 games. And that, to me, is a part of your recipe to success. You have got to get to the quarterback. You've got to be disruptive. And you've got to contain Washington's running back. They have a nice running back over there with the same last name as our running back, Robinson. He's very nice. He's been in the league now for a couple of years, and he's established very well what he does with his game. So that, to me, is how you stop this Commanders offense. Can the defense stop Jaden Daniels? The simple question is yes, the simple answer is yes, if you get pressure. If not, it could be a long night for these Atlanta Falcons. Robert, your recipe to success for this, stopping Jaden Daniels on your defense. How do you do it, and how do you make sure Jaden Daniels doesn't slash you up with his run game?
Well, I agree with Cody. I think a lot of that's going to fall on Caden Ellis tonight. And I'm sure you guys have seen, in the past, one of the best ways to stop a mobile quarterback is to have that Mike linebacker, spy, have him focused on that quarterback on every play. Caden can do that. He has proven it time and time again. He has taken control of this defense, and I honestly think that will be the key to keeping Jaden from gashing us with his legs. Now, of course, the weather may affect, his passing game. So that can work to our advantage too. But just don't let him gash you. I think Caden's going to be the leader of this defense tonight. I think he's really going to, he's going to keep Daniels in check.
Mateo, that question goes to you, brother. What is your recipe to success to stopping this Jaden Daniels, this explosive, possibly rookie of the year quarterback in Washington that's been very explosive with at least 3 to 4 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter of this season? Jaden Daniels, how do you contain that in Washington?
We definitely had troubles with mobile quarterbacks, especially rookies not knowing, having any tape on them, especially in their first year. I say our pass rush definitely have to step up like they've been doing the last couple games with all the sacks they've been getting. Also, corners, they definitely have to stay on their man if they got man-to-man coverage. I don't want to see no AJ Terrell blown coverages or nothing like that, especially from our top corners. They got to be in their A game. Right. Jesse Bates, I'm not worried about him. He's definitely going to cover the back. And but yeah, just be on the A game. Be ready for the rain.
Be ready for anything.
Be ready for anything because it's prime time football. Anything happens on prime time, baby. So
absolutely.
So
one thing that stands out to me, Mateo, is with Jaden Daniels. He is a rookie and he does make mistakes. The last week, I believe, he was 5 touchdowns for 2 to 3 interceptions on that game. So Jaden Daniels is very well interceptable. It can happen. So Jesse Bates, that's a big name. That could be a hot take for tonight's game. Real quick, shout out to Christy Lewis here in the chat. She said, "Rise up." Atlanta Falcons Pandemic says our strategy for Daniels is continue with the defense as of late and for our offense to stay on the field, keeping him off the field. Time of possession, third down completions is going to play a big factor in this game. Can you win in the third down completions? Can you win in time possession for tonight's game? Sterling Wood in the chat says the Falcons brought in a mobile quarterback to practice with this week. I wonder if this will help us win this game. That is absolutely right. The Atlanta Falcons did bring in, I believe his name's Emory Jones. He's from Atlanta. And he's wearing number 11, the first number 11 to wear Jones since Julio. So that is your breaking news. New signing, Emory Jones, to the practice squad.
Boys, we got
to
Julio
prepare.
there.
to prepare for this Jaden Daniels. So that is a big that I think that does have weigh in a little bit. You give your defense a running quarterback to face up against in practice because you're scheming for Jaden Daniels that's done this his whole career, even through college. Jaden Daniels was a scrambler. He could get out the pocket and make explosive plays, whether that be on his feet or with his arm, because Jaden Daniels is a top talent. And let's be all for real, at one point on this podcast, every one of us sitting here wanted the Falcons to draft Jaden Daniels.
Well,
that's a fact. That's a fact because Jaden Daniels.
I got one thing to say.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
About you got to think Raheem was a defensive coordinator when Dan Quinn was our head coach.
Yep.
So that might actually give us an advantage as well. Especially
that's also big because you're breaking news today. I was trying to pull that source up earlier. Head coach Raheem Morris has been heavily involved in Atlanta Falcons defense since the bye week, per rap sheet on Twitter. That has been your big reason of why you have 4 to 5 sacks in each game the last 4 games, because you have Raheem Morris officially helping a young Jimmy Lake, which should have happened to me, should have been established way early on into the season, because Raheem has ran a defense all the way to the Super Bowl before.
I got a good thought. Speaking on Emory Jones, looking at the inactives, he is not inactive. Could we possibly see a Taysom Hill type of scheme?
He was a scrambler in high school. He was a running back / quarterback.
He was like that in the UFL.
Well. So who knows what you could see with Emory Jones? Maybe
that's just a thought. I don't know.
Maybe
all of a sudden, I'm not gonna say it's gonna happen. I'm just saying.
I seen a report today, and I forget who the guy that was speaking on. I think it was the Jets' old coach, Ryan Rex. Is that his name? Rex Ryan, wherever his name is.
Ryan.
Yeah, he was saying today that the Atlanta Falcons lose to Washington because Zach Robinson cannot scheme up for this offense. Could that be a problem for today's game? Play calling has got to be right against a playoff contender.
When is the last time Rex Ryan had a job in the NFL?
Well, that's for another topic. But he brings up a solid point about Zach Robinson because the play calling hasn't been too great this year. Sometimes it's phenomenal, and then sometimes it's not too great. A question here from Atlanta Falcons Fandemic: is Casey Washington active for this game? He is inactive for today's game. Once again, like 4 weeks in a row since the concussion in Denver. So not sure what's going on with Casey. I'm sure it's not an injury problem. It's more of
I think it's just more of a
53-man roster. Yeah, 53-man roster type deal. He's lower on the depth chart. So, yes, Casey Washington is inactive for tonight.
People like Blair is still there this week while he's not. It's more of the veteran thing and who's better with Penix. It's just certain things like that.
The good news is Drake London is healthy today after being pulled from last week's game. Precautionary reasons. He will be healthy today in a big matchup in Washington. We're going to go ahead and head to our next subject for tonight before we close out this pregame show. Keelers, no, wrong one. Mega Biffs, Mega Takes for tonight's game. Robert, take it away, brother.
Well, I think that we're going to be pretty run heavy. And hey, that's my boy. That's my son.
Shout out to Peyton in the chat. Yes, sir.
Glad to have you tonight, son. Greatly appreciate it. But I think with it being a weather game tonight, it's going to be pretty run heavy. My hot take tonight on offense is Bijan will have 125 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Love it. Love it.
Like I said, I think Caden Ellis is going to be the key to success on defense. I give Caden 2 sacks tonight.
Nice. Caden Ellis. A name that we haven't brought up this podcast. I'm going to go ahead and get my hot takes, and then we'll go to Mateo, Phillip, and Cody. My hot take, Arnold Ebiketie gets a couple of sacks tonight. Arnold Ebiketie gets back there and makes some pass rush tonight for these Atlanta Falcons. Offensively, Bijan was going to be my hot take. He's been my hot take for the past 2 weeks now. So I'll go with Darnell Mooney with 125 yards. I've already gave one hot take for tonight. Mooney and Drake both hit 1K tonight, the first receiving duo to do so in the league this year. That's amazing. So that's my 2 hot takes. Mateo, you got a hot take for us tonight?
My hot take, I'm going to say our quarterback. I say Michael Penix has a good game today. I say he actually gets a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown. probably maybe 175 passing yards and 40 rushing yards. So
I love it. I love it. Michael Penix Jr. has his first breakout game as a starting quarterback on the road in Washington. Philip, your hot takes for tonight's game, brother.
It's a little tough one, but obviously my guy number 5, he's gonna break that 1,000-yard record, but he's gonna get there. But he's gonna do it in fashion with 2 or 3 touchdowns tonight.
Shit.
Yes, sir. He's gonna get in the end zone and make that connection 9-5, the only 9-5 that I love to hear or see. He's gonna make that connection even better, baby.
Not that old connection, that new one.
Boy, he's gonna make that connection great.
Philip says the phone is ringing for the connection, and Drake London is picking up this Sunday.
Picking it up. He said he's picking up the 9-5. He likes it. I like that. Defensive side of the ball, I'm gonna give it to my boy Jesse Bates for 2 picks tonight.
Okay. A lot of 2s thrown on the board. A lot of 2s being thrown around tonight.
Lottery, bro.
Cody, hot takes for tonight, brother. I know you're about to kill it. Give me a hot take for these Dirty Birds.
Hot takes tonight. Bijan Robinson goes stupid tonight. He takes 250 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns.
Shit.
250 for 3 tutties.
I like
a running style kind of game tonight, huh, Cody?
He is going to hurt the Washington defense. They're already bad at stopping the run. They're not stopping Bijan tonight. But Bijan and this Falcon team has a purpose, and it's to win the South, and it's right there. We're right at the finish line, so Bijan goes stupid tonight. Defense.
The motto's been all year, Cody. Outrun the South. Outrun the South.
They're going to do it tonight. On the defense side of the ball, like Robert again, Caden Ellis. Caden Ellis puts Jaden Daniels on the ground 3 times, and he's got 10 solos.
Love it.
Caden Ellis continues his hot season.
Atlanta Falcons Fandemic gives us a hot take in the comment section. He says, my hot take, Michael Penix solidifies who he is. Matthew Judon finally shows why he's here. Love it. I love it. I love it. Tony Lee Dunn is in the chat. He said, let's go. Rise up, Tony. Glad to have you in the chat. Hit that like button. Falcon fans, tag a Falcon friend in the comment section. If they subscribe to DFU, you are entered for the chance to win a pair of Apple AirPod Pros. Proceeds from my guy, Cody Keeler, here on the live podcast. We have like a total of 4 people right now entered for this chance to win. So Falcon fans, get the tagging, get the people subscribing, and you and the person that subscribes are entered for the chance to win here on the podcast. The Sports Nut says Bijan rushed for 150, receiving 85, 2 touchdowns, 1 catching, 1 run. Drake 115, Mooney 145, and 1 touchdown each. Falcon fans, if this is nearly what the Falcons do tonight, this offense is cooking, and the future in Atlanta is bright. As we always do before we close our pregame shows, Philip, starting with you, rotating to the right, give me your score prediction for tonight's game.
It's going to be a rainy night, boys. The tensions are high. This is a big one. Tensions are high. We're both fighting for that playoff spot. We're here to contain it. They're here to gain it. All right. Yeah, it's been a little wet, dampy. Give me a good 20-17 game on Sunday Night Football, baby.
Who's your dub?
Do I even have to say it?
You got to. You gotta say it.
You already know, baby. My Dirty Birds. You ain't gotta ask me all that. What is that? What am I ever gonna say we gonna lose, baby? You know what I mean?
The Sports Nuts gives a score prediction of 31-20 Atlanta. Cody, your score prediction for tonight?
It's definitely gonna be ugly, but again, with Bijan going stupid, we're gonna go ahead and say Falcons. We're gonna say Falcons 24, Commanders 19.
Okay, 24-19. I can dig it. No matter how you get it, just get the W. Mateo, score prediction for tonight.
My score prediction for tonight, I'm thinking it's going to be a high score, honestly. I don't think it's going to be low score just because of a little rain. I'm going to say 35 Falcons, 28 Washington.
I'll take it.
Tony Primetime Dunn is in the chat with it. He says ATL 47 to Washington 17.
Boy,
Falcon fans.
Let that happen.
If you put up this kind of performance tonight, Falcon fans, we are live directly after the game.
Yes,
so be here with DFU.
I'm telling Carolina, bring their ass into Atlanta Sunday. Get the belt ready. I'm ready. If that happens, I'm just saying.
Robert, give me your score prediction for tonight, brother.
I agree with Mateo. I think it's going to be on the higher scoring side. I'm going to say Falcons 38, Washington 24.
Okay. Atlanta Falcons Fandemic says 41-38 in Falcons' favor. Man, a high-scoring game here. Chat is definitely tuning in tonight with their predictions. Love it.
I think it's
Love
going
it
to
from
be
the chat.
45-10. Not bad.
Sterling Woods says ATL 35, Washington 28.
I like
My
that.
score prediction. Let's see. We got JD White here in the chat said my one fear for Falcons is Penix may show some mistakes this game, not the rain on anyone's parade, and that's why you have a rookie, because you have rooms for errors when you have a first round rookie that you set all year long, that you've waited, that you've groomed, that showed a nice outing his first game. So when you face, let's be for real, you're facing a team that's defense is okay, but they're banged up as well, and you're really playing the Commanders' offense tonight. That's really the big factor of tonight's game.
Shootout.
Well, but
Daniels.
but here's the thing that you can't forget. We touched on it a little bit, is that Penix did play in Washington where it rained. But remember, fellas, the Falcons went and scouted him in Seattle while it was raining, and they impressed him enough that we took him with that pick.
That was their when they interviewed the Falcons, and that was the first thing the Falcons mentioned. That's what that's what sold Michael Penix Jr. to the Falcons. They went and saw this kid throwing in 25+ mile per hour winds. The ball was phenomenal. It was on point with the conditions. Michael Penix Jr.
Hot to a spit on that thing. He threw it. Didn't matter.
What I want fans and viewers to realize is, just because Penix was sat all year doesn't mean he's not the best quarterback in this rookie draft.
It doesn't mean he's not ready either.
That's what I want viewers to understand. There may be some mistakes, but I wholeheartily believe Michael Penix Jr. is ready for this. Just the mentor,
he's just like Jaden Daniels.
The way that Penix carries himself, the calmness, when they ask him in these questions, even in the pocket, guys. Michael Penix didn't have. I mean, he had some pressure rates, but Michael Penix looked good under pressure. He showed that in his first game in Atlanta. So, as a Falcon fan, all you can hope for is more production from your young rookie quarterback, because as of now, Penix is the future in Atlanta. JD Watt says Falcons win 28-26, so close. Atlanta Falcons fan says field goal decides the winner. Prime Time says Penix 18-25, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Bijan, I think that was a mistype, but Bijan, I think it means Bijan's going to show out tonight. Shout out to Tony in the comments section. Falcon fans, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, ring the bell so you know when DFU goes live. We are officially about 30 minutes away from the live kickoff of the Atlanta Falcons must-win game. DFU episode 122 coming at you live. Before we get out of here, Falcon fans, Philip, give me your shout-outs for tonight, brother, and let's get ready to grab the beer and watch these Dirty Birds take the field.
First things first, man. Shout out to God, man. We're here doing this right now. Let's just see this game tonight, man. It's gonna be something special. Tensions is high, man. So shout out to the Dirty Birds, man. Let's get this thing on. Big bang shout out to that boy Penix, man. I'm riding behind this guy like he's my brother or something, man. I got high expectations for him, and I can't wait to see what he does. And then, so just shout out to him, man. Shout out to everyone in the comment section. Shout out to Mateo for you joining tonight, man. It was big. It's gonna be a good night. It's gonna be a good night, man. There ain't nothing else to say, man. Just rise up and let's get this dub tonight. Let's head into these playoffs.
Shout out to that boy, aka Avitz. Cody Keeler says, "Thanks for nothing, Carolina." Shout outs for tonight, brother.
Sorry,
yeah. Shout out to everybody commenting and watching, and Mateo for joining us. Always good to have you on the podcast, brother. Shout out to the Falcons, man. Just go handle your fucking business tonight, boys. That's all you got to do. It doesn't matter. We don't even need to worry about other teams winning and losing. Just go win your football games, and we'll take care of our business.
Yep.
And we'll handle the business. We'll take care of our own business. But other than that, guys, rise up. Let's go.
I didn't give my score prediction. Sorry, Falcon fans. My score prediction before we get to Robert and his shout outs.
ADD.
My score prediction for tonight is the Atlanta Falcons walk away with the W, a 26-17. A weird scoring game, but your Atlanta Falcons win. Somehow, the Falcons win by 10 points tonight. I don't know what that score may be. That was a 12-point deficit, but the Falcons win by 10 points tonight. However that may be, just get the W tonight. Robert, shout outs for tonight, brother.
Well, shout out to God in heaven. Without him, nothing's possible. And shout out to you guys for letting me be a part of this. It's always an honor and a pleasure. Mateo, shout out to you for coming on tonight. It's always a pleasure, always an honor. And just shout out to the Falcons. Got to get this win tonight. Go take care of business, guys. And, of course, shout out to our viewers. Without you guys, no podcast. We appreciate y'all. And as always, shout out to my family, Brianna, Peyton, Zach, and Christy. I love y'all. Rise up.
Shout out to that man, Mega Biff. Mateo, glad to have you here tonight for the Falcons pregame show. Falcons versus Commanders. Mateo, shout outs for tonight, brother.
Appreciate DFU always. Great podcast. Chase, Phil, Cody, Rob. Y'all always make it interesting.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to our Dirty Birds tonight. Win, lose, or tie, but we're going to win tonight. Most definitely. High hopes for that. And just shout out to all the fans, the true fans out there that never give up even when we go through our little spitters and spatters and bullshit.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's just hope we see our future quarterback tonight, see what he's got, and let's get this dub, boys.
Let's bring it home.
Big game tonight, man. Fellas, it's always glad to have you guys here tonight. Shout out to all four of you guys for coming through for DFU, bringing you episode 122. Falcon fans, as my guy Robert, Philip, and Cody and Mateo said, without you Falcon fans, there is no podcast. So you guys continue to support us, continue to rock with DFU. We promise to continue bringing you Falcon content. Falcon fans, as always, shout out to them Dirty Birds, man. Big matchup tonight. Who wants it more is the hashtag tonight. Hashtag who wants it more. Falcons versus Commanders. As always, man, shout out to God himself. Shout out to the wife in the next room. Shout out to my healthy baby boys. Could not be more blessed, man. It's your boys from DFU. We up out of here. A-Town down. Rise up. Must-win game for the Dirty Birds. Come on.